Hello, everyone. Welcome to the BioClub, Berlin, Tokyo, a network for hybrid arts and DIY biocultures. My name is Regina Raab. I'm from Art Laboratory Berlin, together with Chris Delutz. And then I want to say also introduce to Georg Tremme from the BioClub Tokyo, from Tokyo. So hello, good morning, good day, and good evening. And we're very happy today to come together to the 13th meeting of the BioClub, together with presentations from Fara Peluso and Sachiko Hirosue. And before introducing both speakers, I'd like to have a little bit of an intro. We have a few new attendees today, who we are. It definitely started in the pandemic, in the first lockdown last spring in 2020, when we had to and wanted to reach out to communities in hybrid arts, bio art, and also DIY bio in an intentionally interdisciplinary way. Artists, scientists, makers, curators, theoreticians, and we were very interested to reach out very far. And also over Georg and other colleagues, we were aware of BioClub Tokyo and also other members and colleagues from all over the world, basically, who have to do with the Berlin scene or the Tokyo scene. Now we're coming together. And I think it all did very good to us, not only to find a platform for exchange, how we're doing, how our projects could be developed together, what we are researching on, or what we are thinking or not thinking. So if you allow me, I can say that we had a sort of a tandem, starting always with the presentations from Berlin and Tokyo. And we had a very, very big range of speakers from the arts and life sciences and makers and the bio in general, and very much also on the idea of alternative structures or DIY methods or DIWO methods. Today, I'm very, very happy to have Fara Peluso, artist and designer, here with us, and Sachiko Hirosue, bioengineer and educator. And we have about 2 hours time, and our talks will be from both of them about 20 to 30 minutes. And I really would like to welcome everyone, including our dear audience from all over, to collect questions and to very much interact later on during the discussion with us. So I'd like to introduce Fara Peluso, and it's a big joy for me because from Art Laboratory Berlin's point, we as an artist and art and research platform for hybrid arts, we are very happy to say that we have worked with Fara already for many years, not only in the group exhibition Water Ecologies in 2019, but also in our DIY Hack the Punke art and science group. Fara is an active member. And then also, last but not least, the 2-year project Mind the Fungi with biotechnologists from the Technical University and Art Laboratory Berlin, and the artist Teresa Schubert. And Fara Peluso was artist and designer in residence for the 2-year project. We will hear from Fara more. Fara, as to make you familiar with her background and her biography, she graduated in industrial design at the University of Architecture La Sapienza in Rome, where she studied graphic design. So in general, and this is actually also, we will discuss this today, she seeks to connect human beings with nature, living organisms, biological processes in a deeper relationship, believing in a design strategy based on constant researching and taking inspiration from elements present in nature. I think we also will hear from Fara that the key word is symbiosis, and we probably hear about the term algae quite a lot. Fara Peluso wants to contribute to raising critical questions considering the role belonging to artists and designers. She asks how to design new tools through the application of a speculative methodology. And that brings me also to another event we had, and actually due to the pandemic, we had it online. We had a material-driven design workshop with Fara in context of Mind the Fungi, and that was very challenging. If you're interested, you are very happy and you're very welcome to see the whole material-driven design workshop from spring 2020 on our website. It's there's the whole recording of the several hours there. I don't want to make it too long. Let's go right away over to Fara, and later on, Georg will introduce us to Sachiko, and if you allow me that I will mute myself and want to hand over the ball to Fara. Thank you.
Thank you, Regina, for the beautiful introduction as always. I would like to thank all the old and new friends here today, and I would like to thank a lot Chris and Regina to inviting me again to be part of the BioClub. This is the second time since the very first meeting. I will give an introduction also about me. My name is Fara Peluso. I'm an artist designer, and I'm based in Berlin since 2014. I come from an industrial design education, and I study graphic design. And but at the moment, I'm interested to research in biology, inquiring into living organisms agencies, and poetics, adopting a speculative design methodology, and with a critical thinking approach. I'm interested to observe a lot symbiosis in nature, as Regina already introduced, because I'm interested to adopt also as one of the models, reference models, and also to see how algae are involved in this process. Through my work, I want to propose alternative possible new relationships that the design and art can propose between human beings and the other living organism. I think I can share my Can you see? Okay. Yes, as I say, I'm interested to adopt speculative design methodology, but also I'm interested to work through a DIY biology methodology. I always want to involve public into my artistic and design practice research, and that's the reason why I organize workshops like the material driven design that Regina already mentioned, and that I will explain more later. And my workshop Algae Tool, which is more focused on algae. And through my workshops, I'm interested to share with people my knowledge about DIY biology, and show how the DIY and the design can work together, and they can be the way to build critical thinkers and understanding together which kind of future we want. But in a similar way, the speculative design practice start always with a question, what if? And An example from my work is the Weir reactor project, which has been conceived based on this idea. So, what if in the future we could wear accessories that are able to connect the breed of human beings with the photosynthesis process algae? So I'm interested to study biological process coming from algae, but like the photosynthesis process, but another, let's say, biological event that I started to study and I'm interested, which involve algae and it's connected with climate change phenomenon, is the algae bloom. This event is very much linked with human beings, industrial and production activities. And my project, Chromocene, it's the second part of my research memory matter that I started in 2019, where I use a chromatography technique to develop an installation, and I am using again for this project to study algae pigments decomposition, because these pigments are the main actor, are the protagonists of this climate change event. The algae bloom is an alteration of aquatic systems because of the presence at high level presence in the water of chemicals that mainly come from human activities like farming and industrial production. So the presence of these chemicals start to transform the water into a cyanobacteria population. And this process asks a big amount of oxygen. So this causes the coloring of the water in green color, and asking a lot of oxygen, and then it creates toxic areas. So animals start to die, people can't swim, and so on. Through this work, for me, it's very important to communicate the concept of memory. A memory regarding changes of natural landscapes by not through the human presence, better known as Anthropocene, but also a memory regarding the story of an almost invisible organism that can be possible to trace on a surface. The chromatography, just a brief introduction, is a technique used by scientists to produce and separate pigments through evaporation process and absorption on a surface. So what Chromocenes want to do is to use this process to produce a series of algae canvases depicting what microorganisms can say about the devastating human actions, and also contributing to create a collective memory. A collective memory that will think about climate changes and the drastic effects on the landscape. And the canvases will also symbolize the memory of an organism and the urgence of a collective, again, a collective memory. In 2018, I've been invited by art laboratory to take part at the artist residency program for the collaborative project Mind the Fungi. And I focus my research on the topic of coexistence between algae and fungi, and helping me to discover also the existence of lichens, and as a result of symbiosis between algae and fungi. Mind the Fungi project is a collaborative project between Art Laboratory Berlin and the Institute of Biotechnology, University Berlin. It was a 2 year project where scientists researching on local tree fungi, they focus on developing new fungal and lichens based material. So inviting me and Teresa Schubert to take part at this residency program, Art Laboratory wanted to build a bridge between art science, design and technologies, and also inviting citizens to give a contribute and being a resource, and create events and discussions together. What you see on the right side of my presentation is one of the 2 works I developed thanks to the Mind the Fungi residency, which is Nature. Nature is an hybrid installation, a living sculpture that is able to host a coexistence between fungi and algae. And this work has been developed in collaboration with Professor Peter Neuerbaum and Dr. Stefan Jun from the biotechnology, the Institute of Biotechnology. And the idea was to adapt the same protocol that they develop in the laboratory, adapt to create an art piece and to bring this experiment in a new and open environment, which is the museum. So I wanted to present this work. I wanted to develop this work because I wanted to show the public closely these organisms, how they coexist, and why scientists study, and why they study them, and why they are important. But also start questions, which is what we can learn as human beings, what we can learn observing this symbiotic relationship. In the meantime, I also researched I also researched at the Department of Applied Molecular Microbiology from the Technische University Berlin, and through this collaboration, I developed my work Zweisamkeit on the left side which is on the left side of the presentation, and I also developed a new organic material based on mycelium and algae. Zweisamkeit, it's a sculpture which is formed by 2 topographies, one made of oak and one made of this organic material that I developed thanks the collaboration of the scientists Bertram Schmidt and Carsten Pohl. And this work want to symbolize how how the intervene of human being shaped the natural landscape, and how we could rebuild a relationship between our natural landscapes. So for 2 years I learn a lot of scientific techniques, and I work physically at the department, learning how to grow mycelium and how to combine this material with my algae-based material, and developing this new material. But another coming out from the from this work was also the material-driven design workshop that we together with Art Laboratory we presented on streaming in one of the very first months of pandemic. In this workshop that is still online, and you can find through the website and Art Laboratories canals. You will see how I develop and how I create this material, and how I work with this material, and how we together we collaborate at the department. I wanted to just introduce you about also my theories and models that I use in my research and producing my works, and it's our theories that are very important, and they continue to inspire me. The comprehensive man and comprehensive thinking of Richard Buckmaster Fuller is one of the first models that I adopt, and that helped me to avoid to follow an exclusiveness design policy, and starting to observe also other fields and professional figures. Fuller was complaining in the 60s about the big diversification between the fields, and he was asking to architects and designers to be also an engineer, to be also a scientist, an economist, to be interested about new discoveries and technologies, to understand how to apply them. Through an article that I discovered years ago by Bruno Latour, I also share the idea that speculative design objects can have an high democratic and empathic aspect, because they can help to shape our minds and way to think, and they can help to fight an homologation, contributing to become empathic and democratic minds. As you already see, the symbiotics in nature are also, it's also a model that I adopt, and this is also thanks Lynn Margulis' influence, because I think that yeah, they can. I question, no, already mentioned, which is the lesson that they can give to human beings about the role we can have together into ecology system. So now, I mean, I'm always been interested to pose a question, which is what we want to become, And this is, let's say, this is something that I'm studying very much in this moment, and also thanks the really recently discovery of Rosy Braidotti, which, I mean, I don't come from a theoretical, let's say, education. I come from a very, let's say, technical, knowledge, which is the industrial design. So I constantly interested to discover theorists, the philosopher that I've been not able to study when I was at the university. So from Rosy Braidotti, from her idea of metamorphosis and post-humanism, I'm also asking what we want to become. And I think that it's very important to keep building models that can reflect the complexity of the reality that we are living today. So what I want to continue for the future is that through my work and thanks to these models, it's are the concept of complexity, resilience, and coexistence, trying to avoid any kind of hierarchies between human beings and living organisms. So I believe in this, and I believe that this is the future that that we want to live in. So thank you very much for having me. Thank you. Thank you. Yeah,
Thank
I
you very
stopped.
much, that was brilliant.
Thank you.
I would suggest for everyone, please collect the questions for the larger discussion later on, also after Sachiko's talk. But maybe I have a few questions that we can keep rolling the fresh ball. Fara, thank you very much for your presentation. And coming back to our collaborative project, Mind the Fungi, I would like to inspire you to tell us more, maybe a little bit about the material experimentation. I think that totally reflects the theoretical path that you were telling us today about, also a post-humanistic approach. And also I remember you very much one day and many weeks actually that you told me it's the material driven design is so important. As you said today, coming from the material as such is inspiring you. And as you said, you worked with the bioengineerings, with the department for bioprocess engineering, and then you worked with the people from the applied molecular microbiology. Can you tell us about the specific materials that you were that you were developing?
Yeah, this material is made of extracts coming from mycelium and algae, and this material is the result of combining two research. One is the research that I start at microbiology department about mycelium and how to cultivate mycelium also in a DIY approach, and how to produce an extract pounder from this material. The second research, it's a research that I started by myself in 2016, 2017, about algae-based material based on algae extract pounders. And it's a composition of these two materials, and made of water and glycerin. And at the moment, I'm very much interested to try to make this material more resistant and strength. But I'm always constantly demanding, asking, should we develop something that is quite very similar to plastic, or should we create something that it's interesting in terms of futures, but easy to dissolve, no, to destroy? Because I think that we should ask what the material can offer, instead of forcing to the material to let's say to do what we want to do. You know, it's like don't do the same mistake that we are doing and we did with plastic, like producing everything with plastic. Also things that want to be used just one time, but then you cannot recycle. So I'm very much interested to be focused on the material itself and what the material can offer to us.
Very interesting. And let me maybe add another question or suggestion to also add this for the audience, Fara. Our main intention from Chris and me from Art Laboratory Berlin to bring Teresa Schubert as an artist and you as an artist and designer to Mind the Fungi, to our colleagues from biotechnology, was to widen the, maybe heretically spoken, the closed academic research to a broader audience, to a non-academic audience, and also to interdisciplinary, to rethink this from a non-scientific point of view, from an artistic, from an transdisciplinary way. Yeah. So let me maybe quickly ask you if you can tell us and the audience about niche. So you saw these the cylinders, the vertical sort of installation we saw earlier with the coexisting fungi and algae in liquids. And by the way, the exhibition we opened at Futurium was starting early July, and it was actually deinstalled in December. Yeah. And so maybe you can tell us about the collaboration with Stefan Hune, the engineer, bioprocess engineer from the Technical University. And maybe tell us how the process worked. It was a close, absolutely mind-blowing collaboration from my point of view, from an art theoretical point of view, when I look from a sort of a meta level. But then also maybe tell us how you would have to replace the installation, because it was a bio artwork, and how you had to take care for it throughout these months.
Yeah, I think that's one of the interesting aspects of working with the scientists from the bioengineer department was reinvent the timing and the timing and the design process coming from my old education, because the main actor are and was the living organism. This is something, but in a specific for niche was very funny and interesting. Keep collaborating even after the opening of the exhibition, because niche requires a constant care. So we didn't just move something from the lab to produce an art piece that stayed there, let's say, alone, working alone. We constantly met every week to keep feeding the microorganism and observing and watching how the growing of this microorganism was developing, and what was necessary to do and or not. So not only the process, but also the working, the physical working was happening in a museum. So for let's say 30 minutes, 40 minutes every week, an artist and a scientist, they were working at the scientific experiment in a museum.
Yes, and just to strengthen this phenomenon that I also could follow over months, which I find absolutely special. Probably those of us who are familiar with art science practices, maybe it's not so new, but maybe allow me to strengthen this point that I think I don't exaggerate if I quote the bioengineer Stefan June when he literally said to me, because I asked him, so what is this actually, does it bring something new for you also that you have Farah, the designer, working in your lab, and now that you come to a museum, helping Farah to install this bioreactor for half a year. And he said, literally, I would have never thought about the coexistence of these material if not Farah had the idea of, and then it's also interesting to think about the lab. I think he said it's like an extended lab. We go to this exhibition space down in the basement in the biodesign section where we had the exhibition Mind the Fungi, and he said, and he would have never thought about that. So that tells me, and I'm sure I'm not exaggerating, that there was already, and this was the moment of an approach of interdisciplinary collaboration that made him think for his own scientific research. No?
Yeah, definitely. And this is exactly, this is very much what I want to perceive in my work. I want to say, and I want to express that art and design, they can be the bridge to open environments, to open spaces that in general are closed, like like public spaces that, for example, museum, no, or scientific spaces like laboratory. So I truly believe that the art and design can be the right bridge, the right connection to open to public and see what scientists are doing in the lab and why. I mean, very much now, very much in this moment, no, that people are.
Also to add, Farah, it's undoubtedly due to the pandemic that we could not do more hands-on projects, and I guess I speak for everyone. We all hope to actually get our hands wet soon enough, all in a collective, larger group. But also the Mind the Fungi project was intended to bring the people into the lab, the broad audience, and we did this, and we walked and collected fungal material, and also designed and experimented together. So actually, hindsight, it was, I think, very fruitful collaboration. And you, Farah, and Teresa, you really, you rocked the labs also. So I think we all collect questions for the broad discussion later on. It's now time. I mute myself, and I would like to roll over the ball to Georg to present Sachiko. And thank you, Farah, and I'm so much looking forward also for Sachiko's talk. And thank you.
Thank you.